The young man Chung arrived in Thailand with his uncle to look for a job opportunity after traveling from China. Upon arrival, Chung's uncle asked him to remember his promise to his mother not to fight with anyone, and Chung agreed. As they moved forward, they stopped at a food cart to have some soup. The vendor served them 2 bowls, and as they began eating, 4 young men approached the cart and started harassing the vendor. Chung felt angry, but his uncle reached for Chung's neck and pulled out the necklace Chung was wearing, reminding him of the promise he made to his mother. Chung controlled his anger and remained silent as he wore the necklace to remember his promise. A small boy selling bread approached, and the young men took his bread and hit him. The boy ran to a young man coming from the end of the street and told him that those young men had hit him and taken his bread without paying. The young man rushed towards the group and started fighting them. Chung and his uncle approached him and greeted him. This skilled fighter was a relative of Chung and his uncle, so he took them to his home. The uncle greeted everyone at home and introduced Chung, asking them to find him a job. Chung went to the factory with his uncle. Upon arrival, She's Shine took him to the manager's office, who welcomed him and told him he could start working the next morning. Chung was delighted with the good news. In the evening, Chung accompanied his friend as Shine, and suddenly they saw Mrs. Mai crying. Shine asked her if someone had bothered her, but she didn't answer. He asked where her husband was, and she said he was gambling at the bar, and they were poor. Shine told Chung he would go to the bar to check on him. He found Mai's husband sad and losing in his gambling. Shine took one of the dice and split it in half, revealing a piece of metal inside, proving to Mai's husband that the gamblers were cheating. He took him outside, followed by a group of angry gamblers. H's Shane fought them bravely while Chung watched without intervening due to his promise to his mother. After the uncle left, Chung went to his new job. Near the river, he saw a villain harassing Xiaomi. She tried to escape, and upon Chung's arrival, the villain fled immediately. Chung arrived at his new job at the factory and started working immediately. While pushing an ice block, it slipped and fell, breaking open to reveal a bag of drugs hidden inside. 2 workers noticed it and wondered what it was. Another worker picked it up and asked them to leave. The foreman approached Chung, who had dropped the ice block, and slapped him. He tried to hit him again, but Chung stopped his hand. Shane appeared and prevented the fight. The foreman ordered everyone to return to work except the 2 workers who saw the drugs. He told them to go to the manager's office immediately. The manager offered them $2,000 to keep quiet about what they saw inside the ice block. They refused the money and promised not to tell anyone. The manager sent 3 young men to kill them, and they were stabbed to death. The next day, Shane asked about the 2 workers who didn't return home the previous night. He was told they went to the manager's office. Shane went to the manager's office and asked about them. The manager said the factory owner had summoned them. Shane arrived at the owner's house with a friend and asked to see him. They entered the owner's office, and Shane asked about his friends who didn't return home. The owner said he had summoned them to give them a financial reward and informed the police about their disappearance. Shane felt uneasy about the owner's words. The owner offered to make him a rich man if he forgot about the 2 workers. Shane refused and angrily told the owner he would report him to the police. The owner said he had no evidence against him. Shane and his friend left the office, followed by a group of the owner's men. A fierce fight ensued, resulting in the deaths of Shane and his friend. At home, Shane's friends waited for him, but he didn't return. Early in the morning, they searched for him and his friend. Upon arriving at the factory, they decided to go to the manager's office to ask about Shane and his friend. The manager said the owner told him they had left, but they didn't believe him. They decided not to work until Shane and his friend returned. The foreman approached them with a group of men. Chung stepped aside and held his mother's necklace while his friends fought the foreman's men. One of Chung's friends asked him to join the fight, but Chung remained silent until one of the men hit him and took the necklace from his neck, throwing it to the ground. This ignited Chung's anger, and he started fighting them, knocking them down one by one, while his friends watched in amazement. After the fight, the manager summoned Chung to his office and appointed him as the new foreman to keep them from investigating Shane's disappearance. The workers were happy, and upon returning home, Xiaomi asked about their happiness. They told her the story of the hero Chung and how he was appointed as the new foreman. She asked if Shine had returned, and everyone fell silent. In the morning, Chung went to the factory manager's office to ask about Shane. The manager told him to inform the police if they didn't return by evening and invited Chung to dinner at a bar. In the evening, Chung went to the manager, who warmly welcomed him at the dinner table and invited beautiful women to distract Chung from Shane's disappearance. Chung asked about it, and the manager said the factory owner was now with the police chief informing him about the matter. In the morning, Chung rushed to the factory after spending the night at the bar. His friends asked if he had reported Shine and his friend's disappearance to the police. He told them he didn't go to the police station because the manager invited him to dinner. One of his friends sarcastically said, "For one dinner, you became one of them." Chung went to the manager's office and asked to meet the factory owner. The manager did not object and asked Chung to go after work. Chung went to the owner's house and entered the yard through the outer gate, only to be surprised by a group of fierce dogs attacking him. Chung started fighting them, and the owner came out and ordered the dogs to stop. He asked Chung to come to him, and Chung inquired about his friend Shash. The owner told him that he had informed the police and sent his men to search for Shine and his friend. Chung returned home but received no welcome from his angry friends. He went to the bar where he had been the previous night and met one of the beautiful women he had spent the night with. She told him that the owner was a fraud who dealt drugs hidden in ice blocks. Meanwhile, the owner's men raided Chung's friend's house, killing everyone they found except Xiaomi, whom they kidnapped. Chung left the bar angrily and went to the factory to find any evidence that could help him locate his friends after learning that the owner was a drug dealer. Upon arriving at the factory room, he carved one of the ice blocks with a knife and found a bag of drugs inside, along with dead bodies in the ice blocks. At that moment, the owner's men entered the factory to kill him. Chung faced them angrily and killed them all. Chung returned to his friend's house, only to find them all dead. However, he did not find Xiaomi's body, so he tried to search for her but couldn't find her. He decided to avenge his friends despite his promise to his mother not to fight anyone. He went to the owner's house and jumped over the wall to reach the yard. The owner sent 6 of his men to fight Chung while he watched. Chung approached them and killed them all. After that, he went towards the owner to fight him. Despite being an old man, the owner was skilled in fighting. The fight began, and the owner managed to wound Chung with a knife in his abdomen and scratch his face. While they were fighting, one of the girls in the owner's house freed Xiaomi and informed her about the fight. As the fight continued, Chung, due to his anger and fighting skills, managed to overpower the old owner and stabbed him with the knife. The police arrived with Xiaomi and arrested Cheng, putting handcuffs on both his hands.